There are 4 actions on the court that we can perform: passing, setting, hitting, and blocking. Today I wanted to cover what they all have in common. The things that they all have in common is that the balance of our body during the approach to do those actions needs to be perfect on every step. And our balance on our last closing step, in our plant step, that's the most important point. In all 4 of those actions that we have balance. With our passing footwork, we need to have balance on every single step. And we especially need balance on our last step. When we're setting, we need balance on every single step. When we're hitting, we need balance on every single step. And when we're blocking, we also need balance in our steps. Another thing that's in common with the footwork on all these actions is that our steps should be clear, concise, and countable. So we don't want a lot of random little steps. Every step counts in whatever you're doing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the type of steps we want to see on the court. Perfectly balanced steps, clear and concise, and countable. The second thing all those actions have in common is that we want to find our plant correctly in the right place with all of these actions. Finding our plant is when we position our bodies the best we possibly can with regards to the ball. And as we're finding that place, we're planting and sticking and finding balance. And so I always say find your plant on hitting, especially most. But we actually find our plant when we do anything on the court. We take clear and concise steps with balance, and then we take our last step into a plant where we find all of our foundation and our balance right here. During our point of contact, we are not unbalanced. We're not falling over or falling to the side. We're perfectly balanced. The third thing in common that all actions on the court have is that we are going to watch the ball hit our point of contact. So if we're passing, we need to learn to watch the ball hit our platform. When we're setting, we need to watch the ball hit our setting platform. When we're hitting, we need to watch our hand hit the ball. When we're blocking, this is probably the hardest one to do, but if you're up on a block, and I spoke about this in my blocking video, you need to watch the ball go into your block. And so the fourth thing that all of our actions on the court have in common is that we follow through in everything we do. And a follow through is basically where you hold the end of your athletic action, you hold it for about a second after you're done. So as we're passing, say we make a nice, clear, and concise pass, we hold right here. When we're setting, it's very important on setting and hitting. When we're setting and we're here, I taught how to set in a different video. I won't go over it fully here, but after we release the ball, we want our fingers in line with our arms. And the line of our arms is where we're aiming. So we want to finish our fingers here and hold them for a second. Hold them for a second or two. And what this does is it's going to help you aim all of your sets. And it's also going to reinforce your sense of aim, which is also, it's going to calibrate your aim on the court. Because every time you finish your athletic action and you hold, you're going to get some feedback on where you are aiming. And if if you're thinking in your mind, I'm aiming here, but then the ball goes to a different place, you can get some feedback from your body by holding. And so when we're hitting, we also want to follow through and hold. So in a game, I would come up and I'd be like, and I'd be holding my hand. Like after I hit it, I'd be here. And I'm pointing right at where I'm aiming. And so a really easy way to teach people this is just have them pepper. Just have them hit the ball to each other. Here, here. And then if you're coaching them how to hit, they need to be aiming right here. So after they hit, their hand and their fingers should be pointing right at that target. So come up here to hit, here, and here. And your arm's never gonna lie to you. And your arm's gonna do the same thing that I was talking about in setting. It's gonna help you aim. It's gonna reinforce your aim. And it's gonna reinforce how you know your own body and how you hit. And the last thing, I would say follow through on blocking. Probably the least important of the four. But still important and still doable. I mean, the best players definitely do it. I would say it's probably tougher on blocking. But so if you're saying I'm here blocking and I jump up, and let's say I'm playing the right side. So if I'm playing the right side, I want to close here, right? So I want to close to inside the court. So as I'm up in the air and the ball bounces off my perfect block, I just want to hold it there. Let's hold it there. And then as you're coming down, get your arms out of the way. And I would say the last thing that all actions on the volleyball court have in common, this is kind of a bonus, is what I've said in my previous videos. And that is, you have a line of balance in all of your actions. And the worst thing you can do when you're finding your footwork to perform a volleyball action is let your momentum get ahead of your line of balance. So if I'm passing, I don't want to be falling over my foot here. I don't want to be falling over my foot here. I don't want to be falling over my feet as I take my path to the ball. So we don't let our momentum get ahead of us in our line of balance, and that applies on passing. It applies on setting. When you're up here in the set, you don't want to be falling forward as you set. Also, if someone sets the ball behind you, which is the hardest thing to set, you don't want to be falling backwards as you set. Sometimes you have to. The same goes for hitting, and I've talked about this a lot. We don't want to get ahead of our balance when we're hitting. It's the worst thing we can do. If we come up here and we're hitting, and then and then have to take 2 steps back to hit, we've lost all our control to hit. And the same goes for blocking. If I'm blocking and I come here and I'm falling over as I'm about to block, then my momentum just got ahead of myself. And that's what I said earlier when I'm talking about balance. Every single step has to be balanced so that we're not doing that to ourselves. That's what we want to avoid. Number 1 in our footwork. And if you can do this, you're gonna play NCAA volleyball. If you've got the natural talent and you avoid all that stuff, if you have clear and concise footwork and you're always balanced, you're gonna be way better than